The double-edged dance of extramarital affairs in the quiet corners of human relationships, where vows are whispered and promises etched in gold, there exists a shadow realm. The extramarital affair. It's a topic that sparks intrigue, judgment, and curiosity in equal measure. Some see it as a betrayal of sacred bonds, others as a desperate grasp for freedom or fulfillment. Through the lens of two fictional yet relatable stories, those of Elena and Samir, we'll explore the pros and cons of extramarital relationships, diving into their emotional, social, and ethical ripples with examples, psychological insights, and cultural nuance. Elena's story. A spark in the mundane. Elena, a 38-year-old marketing executive, had been married to Mark for 12 years. Their life in suburban Chicago was stable. 2 kids, a mortgage, and a rhythm of carpools and date nights that had grown predictable. But beneath the surface, Elena felt invisible. Mark's long hours at his law firm left her craving emotional connection, and their intimacy had dwindled to perfunctory moments. At a work conference, she met Javier, a charismatic colleague whose attentiveness reignited a spark she thought was long extinguished. Their flirtation evolved into a 6-month affair, filled with stolen lunches and late-night texts. The pros. A taste of aliveness for Elena, the affair was a lifeline. Javier's compliments and undivided attention made her feel seen, desirable, and alive in ways she hadn't in years. Personal fulfillment became her escape from the monotony of her marriage. Psychologically, this aligns with research from the Journal of Marriage and Family, 2020, which notes that some individuals in affairs report a renewed sense of self-worth and vitality, especially when their primary relationship feels stagnant. The affair also prompted self-discovery. Elena began journaling, reflecting on what she wanted from life. Was she still the vibrant woman who once dreamed of writing novels? Javier's encouragement led her to enroll in a creative writing class, something Mark had dismissed as impractical. For some, like Elena, an extramarital relationship can unearth buried desires, acting as a catalyst for personal growth, even if the path is fraught. In rare cases, an affair can preserve a marriage. Elena didn't want to leave Mark. She valued their shared history and their children's stability. The affair allowed her to stay in the marriage by fulfilling needs Mark couldn't meet, a phenomenon sociologist Alicia Walker explores in her book The Secret Life of the Cheating Wife, 2017. For Elena, the affair was a pressure valve, keeping her family intact, at least for now. The cons. The weight of secrets, but the thrill came at a cost. Betrayal of trust loomed large. Elena lived in constant fear of discovery, her stomach knotting every time Mark picked up her phone to check the weather. When Mark did find a stray text from Javier, the fallout was devastating. His hurt was palpable, and their marriage teetered on the edge of divorce. Trust, once broken, is notoriously hard to rebuild, as psychologist Shirley Glass notes in Not Just Friends, 2003, where she describes infidelity as a trauma for the betrayed spouse. The emotional toll was equally heavy. Elena's guilt gnawed at her, especially when tucking her kids into bed. Javier, too, grew frustrated, wanting more than a clandestine relationship. The affair's secrecy bred anxiety, aligning with studies showing that affairs often increase stress hormones like cortisol, American Psychological Association, 2019. Elena's initial euphoria gave way to a cycle of shame and longing. The affair also risked family upheaval. When Mark confronted Elena, their children sensed the tension, their grades slipping as family dinners grew silent. The ripple effects extended to their social circle, with mutual friends taking sides. Elena faced judgment from her book club, where whispers of homewrecker stung. Sociologically, affairs often disrupt community bonds, as noted in Robert Bella's Habits of the Heart, 1985. Finally, there were practical consequences. Mark consulted a lawyer, and Elena learned that in Illinois, infidelity could complicate alimony if divorce proceedings began. The financial strain of potential separation, combined with the cost of secret hotel stays, drained her savings. The affair's allure began to feel like a trap. Samir's story. A cultural crossroads now consider Samir, a 45-year-old software engineer in Mumbai, married to Priya for 18 years in an arranged marriage. Their union was rooted in duty, with 2 teenage daughters and a joint family household. But Samir felt trapped by expectations, his wife's, his parents', societies. At a tech startup, he met Ananya, a free-spirited graphic designer who shared his love for jazz and late-night philosophical debates. Their affair began over coffee, evolving into a passionate connection that challenged Samir's sense of obligation. The pros. Breaking cultural shackles for Samir, the affair was a rebellion against cultural constraints. In India, where arranged marriages often prioritize family harmony over individual desire, Ananya offered a space to explore his authentic self. Their conversations about art and freedom fulfilled an intellectual and emotional void Priya, focused on domestic life, couldn't fill. This aligns with Cross-Cultural Studies, Journal of Cross-Cultural Psychology, 2022, showing that affairs in collectivist societies can be a form of self-expression for those feeling stifled. The affair also brought excitement and novelty. Samir, accustomed to routine, found joy in sneaking away to jazz clubs, a stark contrast to his predictable evenings with in-laws. Evolutionary psychologists like David Buss argue that humans are wired to seek novelty, which can explain the thrill of affairs. The Evolution of Desire, 2016. The cons. A web of consequences, yet Samir's choices carried heavy risks. The cultural stigma of infidelity in India is severe, particularly for men in traditional families. If discovered, Samir risked ostracism from his extended family and community. When Priya found Ananya's scarf in his car, the confrontation was explosive. Priya's tears and his parents' disapproval left Samir isolated, echoing research on the social costs of infidelity in collectivist cultures, Family Process, 2021. The ethical conflict was profound. Samir, raised with values of duty and honor, struggled with guilt. His Hindu upbringing emphasized dharma, moral duty, making the affair feel like a betrayal not just of Priya but of his core beliefs. This moral dissonance is common, as noted in Jonathan Haidt's The Righteous Mind, 2012, where violations of loyalty trigger deep psychological discomfort. Health risks also emerge. Samir and Ananya, caught in the heat of passion, were inconsistent with protection, raising concerns about STIs. The Journal of Sexual Medicine, 2020, highlights that extramarital affairs increase STI transmission risks, especially when secrecy prevents open health discussions. Finally, the legal and financial fallout loomed. While India's laws don't penalize infidelity as harshly as before, adultery was decriminalized in 2018. Priya threatened to leave, which would have disrupted their joint family's financial stability. Samir's daughters, caught in the crossfire, grew distant, mirroring studies on the impact of parental conflict on children, Child Development, 2018. Broader context. A global lens. Elena and Samir's stories highlight universal themes, but the implications of extramarital affairs vary by context. In Western societies like the US, where individualism reigns, affairs are often framed as personal betrayals, with divorce rates climbing after infidelity, American Sociological Review, 2019. In contrast, collectivist cultures like India or Japan prioritize family harmony, making social consequences more severe. Yet, some societies, like certain European cultures, tolerate discreet affairs as a "don't ask, don't tell" norm, provided they don't disrupt the marriage. The Atlantic, 2020. Open relationships offer a counterpoint. If Elena and Mark, or Samir and Priya, had mutually agreed to non-monogamy, the betrayal and secrecy might have been avoided. Polyamory, increasingly visible in Western cultures, Psychology Today, 2023, reframes extramarital connections as ethical when consensual. However, non-consensual affairs, as in these stories, carry heavier risks. Psychological drivers also matter. Affairs often stem from unmet needs, emotional, sexual, or existential. Esther Perel, in The State of Affairs, 2017, argues that affairs are less about the partner and more about the self, a search for a lost version of oneself. Yet, they rarely resolve underlying issues, often exacerbating them instead. Conclusion. A dance with consequences. Extramarital affairs are a double-edged dance, thrilling yet perilous, liberating yet destructive. For Elena, the affair offered a fleeting taste of aliveness but unraveled her marriage and peace of mind. For Samir, it was a rebellion against duty, but the cultural and familial costs were steep. The pros, fulfillment, excitement, self-discovery, can feel intoxicating, but the cons, betrayal, emotional turmoil, social and legal fallout, often outweigh them. Rather than turning to secrecy, open communication, counseling, or redefining relationship boundaries might offer a less destructive path. The allure of the forbidden will always captivate, but as Elena and Samir learned, every step in this dance carries a weight that can echo far beyond the moment. If you're grappling with these choices, consider what you're truly seeking, and whether the cost is worth the fleeting spark.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future ideas that challenge us to think outside the box. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, and don't forget to always maintain that curiosity that drives progress. Also, explore even more fascinating content on our channel. From life-changing tips and cutting-edge technology, to the mysteries of spirituality, travel to various countries, delicious recipes, health hacks, and language learning, there's something here to spark your curiosity and elevate your life. Dive in and discover a world of knowledge awaits us.